Welcome to NFL Talk. I'm Liam. And, we got to talk about Joe Burrow, right? I mean, his comeback after that wrist injury last year, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. Hey, everyone. I'm Olivia. And he's not just back on the field, he's thriving. It's pretty remarkable considering the type of injury it was.
For sure. This wasn't just some, minor sprain. It was a ruptured scapholunate ligament in his throwing wrist.
Ah!
That's pretty rare, especially for a quarterback.
Right. That ligament, it's crucial for stability. For any athlete, but especially a quarterback who needs that precision and velocity on every throw, when that ligament ruptures, it disrupts the entire throwing motion. And then there's the long-term stuff, like regaining strength, range of motion, even that touch on his throws.
Yeah, it must have been a tough diagnosis to hear. I mean, so much uncertainty. What do we know about Burrow's initial reaction? I mean, how did he handle that mentally?
From what we've heard, his mindset was really positive. Like, he went into surgery already focused on the rehab. He even compared it to his knee surgery experience. Like, he was determined to tackle this head on. But, I'm sure there were some doubts. I mean, no quarterback had ever really come back from this specific injury. He was in uncharted territory.
Yeah, and I mean, this wasn't his first rodeo with a major injury. He had that knee injury earlier in his career. Did that experience kind of shape how he approached this setback?
Definitely. Rehabbing a knee like that, it's grueling. So he already had that mental framework for a long recovery, the dedication, the patience, the mental toughness. But this wrist injury, it was a different beast. Throwing a football is so intricate, and the wrist is so vital. I'm sure there were questions, could he ever get back to that elite level?
And you have to remember, he was coming off an amazing season, Super Bowl run. To have that momentum stopped by this injury, that's got to be tough mentally.
Yeah, no doubt. It's one thing when you're still proving yourself. But when you're at that level, almost achieve something so big, that's a whole different challenge. But from everything we've seen, he used it as fuel.
It's interesting you mentioned the knee injury. Did that past experience actually, impact how he dealt with this mentally?
It seems like it. I read that he talked to his teammate Joe Burrow, who'd had a similar wrist injury in college. Even though Bachy's a linebacker, just having someone who understood, who'd been through that physical and emotional recovery, I bet that was huge. It reminds you that even elite athletes, they need support. They need people who get it.
That's a good point. We always focus on the physical rehab, but the mental side's so important. Did Burrow ever talk publicly about the mental challenges?
He did, and it was really relatable. He talked about injuries stacking up, how they weigh on you mentally. He didn't shy away from those doubts, the struggle to stay positive. It was honest, For a high-profile athlete, it was refreshing to hear that.
And it's not just him, right? The whole Bengals organization was impacted. How did the team support him?
Oh, from the coaches to his teammates, tons of support. They knew how important he was, not just as a quarterback, but as a leader. That support probably helped his recovery. Knowing your team believes in you, that's powerful.
For sure. So we've talked about the mental side, the support. Let's get into the physical rehab. What did that look like? What were some of the big milestones?
Well, it started slow. Got to protect that ligament, let it heal properly. First, it was about basic range of motion strength, simple exercises, maybe light weights. Then, as he progressed, more functional movements, things that mimicked throwing without stressing the wrist.
So when did he actually start throwing a football again? That had to be a big deal.
There were reports of him tossing a medicine ball pretty early on. Good way to rebuild those mechanics without too much strain. But it wasn't until the off-season program that he really ramped up the throwing. Even then, it was gradual. They had a strict limit so he wouldn't overdo it. It shows his discipline that he didn't rush it.
For a competitor like him, being held back like that, it must have been tough.
I'm sure it was. But he knew that pushing too hard too soon could mess up his whole recovery. And it paid off. As the offseason went on, he increased his workload, regained that strength, velocity, and that pinpoint accuracy he's known for.
Remember that story about him learning piano to improve his dexterity? Was that just a PR stunt? Or was there something to that?
It was a good story, but it could have actually helped. I mean, playing piano, it's all about precise finger movements, coordination, control. Those are key for a quarterback's grip and release. It's unconventional, but it shows how dedicated he is. Always looking for ways to get better, that sets him apart.
And I bet it helped him stay mentally engaged during rehab, right?
Absolutely. Keeping your mind sharp, finding new challenges. It's important when you're going through a long rehab process.
So by training camp, he was back, participating fully. But was there any hesitation, any sense he was protecting the wrist?
It's hard to say for sure, but there were signs he was still finding his rhythm, which makes sense after an injury like that. Mentally, Trusting your body again, especially for something as complex as throwing a football, that takes time.
Which leads us to that first regular season game. It wasn't quite the Burrow we were used to, was it?
It wasn't. He seemed a little off, maybe a little hesitant. The velocity wasn't there, and his accuracy was a bit shaky. Understandable, but it had to worry some Bengals fans.
But then week 2 happened. And wow.
Oh, yeah, it was like a different player. Playing the Chiefs, a tough opponent who always seems to bring out the best in him. And in that game, something clicked.
He was back, slinging it with confidence, making those tight throws, leading the offense with that swagger we all know. He was back.
It was a statement game, even though they lost on a last-second field goal. That performance showed everyone, including himself, that he was fully back, both physically and mentally.
It was like a turning point in his season. The moment he finally, conquered the injury and reclaimed his spot as one of the NFL's elite.
It showed what kind of competitor he is. The kind that thrives on challenges. The kind that uses adversity as fuel.
It's such a fascinating story of resilience, determination, the power of the human spirit.
It really is. And we're just scratching the surface of this comeback story.
Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the rest of Burrow's season and explore what his journey really means.
That week 2 game, man, against the Chiefs, that was something else. It wasn't just the stats, it was the energy, Like he'd finally let go of that injury, rediscovered that love for the game.
Yeah, you could feel it, that sense of relief, like he'd cleared this huge hurdle and could finally focus on leading the team. And it wasn't just a fluke, right? He kept that momentum going.
Oh, absolutely. After that Chiefs game, he was on fire. It wasn't just physical anymore, it was mental. That confidence, trusting his instincts, that edge that makes a great quarterback. He had it back.
You saw it in his decisions, his poise in the pocket, extending plays, making something out of nothing, like vintage Burrow.
Exactly. Those impossible throws, finding receivers in tight coverage, punishing defenses for any mistake. It was a clinic.
And the numbers show it. Since that week 2, he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. But it's more than that, right? It's that intangible thing he brings to the Bengals.
You got it. That leadership, that belief they can win any game. It's contagious. His teammates feed off it. And it's not just on the field. It's his work ethic, his preparation. Remember that story about him watching film all night? Everyone else had gone home, but he was still there.
Classic Burrow. Always pushing, always trying to be better. That drive is what makes him so special.
And his resilience, it impacts the whole team culture. He's setting the example, You don't let setbacks define you. You fight back, you work harder, and you come back stronger. It's inspiring.
It's like next man up, but on a whole other level. It's about embracing challenges, never giving up.
Exactly. It's powerful. And the Bengals are playing with this different swagger now. Like they truly believe they can beat anyone.
And it's not just winning, right? It's building that culture, that resilience. It's a legacy that goes beyond football.
And he's at the heart of it. Not just a quarterback, but a leader, an inspiration. He shows what's possible when you combine talent with that unbreakable spirit.
He's become the face of the franchise, a role model, a symbol of hope for the city. And his story, it goes way beyond sports.
It does. It's about human resilience, perseverance, believing in yourself even when things are tough. It's a story that resonates with everyone.
It reminds us that we all face setbacks, but it's how we respond that matters. Dig deep, find that strength, and use it to grow.
Burrow's comeback is more than just a good story. It's a reminder that we can all overcome adversity, achieve incredible things, even when the odds are stacked against us.
It's a message that goes beyond sports, about what it means to be human, to strive, to persevere, to never give up on your dreams, no matter how hard it gets.
And his story's not over yet. He's still young, still got so much potential. Who knows what he'll accomplish?
As we think about Burrow's comeback, what are the big takeaways for you? What makes his story so captivating?
For me, it's that resilience on so many levels. It's not just the physical injury. It's overcoming doubt, being vulnerable, finding strength in those around you. It's about those tough emotions, but not letting them control you.
I agree. And it's about thinking outside the box, whether it's talking to a teammate who gets it or trying something new like playing piano. Burrow shows how important it is to adapt, to always look for ways to improve.
And don't forget his leadership with the Bengals. His belief in himself and his team, it's created this culture where they see setbacks as opportunities. Every challenge, they face it head on.
It's amazing how one person's spirit can impact a whole team, a city, even people around the world.
His story reminds us that greatness isn't just about talent. It's about character, resilience, believing you can achieve anything.
It's a story that'll keep inspiring us long after this season is over.
This deep dive has been awesome. I can't wait to finish it up in the last part.
It's amazing how Burrow's story, It's gone beyond just sports, right? It's captured people's attention everywhere.
Totally. It's like his journey. It connects with everyone, athletes, non-athletes, doesn't matter. That whole facing adversity thing, pushing through, it's something we all get.
It's that human spirit, wanting to overcome, to be better, to come out stronger after tough times.
Yeah, and it's not just about succeeding alone. Burrow's story shows how important community is, having support, people who have your back even when you doubt yourself.
Like his teammates, coaches, his family, they were there for him, encouraging him, guiding him. That had to help him recover.
It makes you realize going through tough stuff alone, it's so much harder. Having that network, those people you can lean on, it's huge.
And it goes both ways, right? It's not just about receiving support, it's about giving it too. Burrow, he's a leader on and off the field. He's a role model, showing young athletes what resilience looks like, that hard work and staying positive pays off.
Exactly. He's using his platform to inspire, to show that everyone faces setbacks, but they don't have to hold you back. You can learn from them, grow, and achieve amazing things because of them.
It's a message that goes way beyond sports. Anyone facing challenges in their life, their work, it applies. It's about believing in yourself, even when it's tough.
Burrow's journey, it shows how powerful adversity can be. It's about embracing the challenges, learning from the tough times, and coming out stronger and more resilient.
As we look ahead, it's exciting to think what he'll accomplish. On the field, off the field, who knows?
But he's still got so much ahead of him. Maybe a Super Bowl with the Bengals, becoming a legend. But it's bigger than that.
Right. It's about inspiring people with his determination, his humility, his belief in never giving up.
Joe Burrow's story, it's about the strength of the human spirit. It reminds us that no matter what we face, we can overcome it and do incredible things.
It's a story that'll stay with us long after he's done playing. It's a reminder that the biggest wins, they often come after the toughest battles.
This deep dive, it's been incredible. Really makes you think.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.